Greetings, this is TC Carrier. Hopefully you saw the video before this entitled You Make Hell Comfortable. This is part 2 to that video. So if you haven't, check that one out. Although this video stands on its own to give you a better complete overview on the concept of the information that I'm giving you today, I really highly recommend you see that video first, okay? So we'll start this lecture off with the cheat code to escaping hell, okay? So first of all, I want to stand and go through what does esoteric or occult knowledge actually mean. Literally, occult just means secret. Esoteric means hidden. Okay, we are brainwashed to believe that the occult and this esoteric knowledge is somehow evil, is somehow diabolical, somehow worshiping the devil or something, right? That is a way to get you from embracing or even wanting to know about the information that's occult or esoteric. Remember, it's hidden from you for a reason. It's a secret for a reason. And basically, it just states that everything is metaphysics, okay? Another word that kind of gets thrown around is devil worship. All metaphysics means is meta is beyond, physics meaning beyond the physical dimension or that which you can see, taste, touch, hear, or smell. So metaphysics, when you put it together, is the information, right, that you see beyond your five senses that can detect, okay, beyond what your five senses can detect. And science tells us that over 99% of information or energy out there is energy that we cannot see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. We are literally going through life blind, right? And they want to keep us that way, right? They want the blind leading the blind, while they're the ones that have the eyes to see the real world, the real realm and dimension that you are in now. Okay, so we got to eliminate that negativity towards occult or esoteric or metaphysical information and knowledge. Okay, so if you saw the first video, you know that the heart chakra is the first level of higher consciousness, and to escape hell or the lower three chakras, you need to obtain the velocity of the heart, which is 528 hertz, in order to get out of hell, okay? Which is to get out of you as an animal, right? Having a human experience, only interested in food, shelter, clothing, transportation, avoiding pain and seeking pleasure, only interested in pleasurable things, doing the easy way out, not having any difficulties, staying in your lane, stay in your box, whatever's comfortable for you, that's where you stay, and only interested in satisfying your cravings, your desires, and your addictions, okay? That is hell. First level is the heart, where you now become a spiritual being having a human experience, okay? So that's the difference between the two. So the reason why I bring up the heart is a way to escape hell. It's also a way to enter hell. Okay, so what do you mean by that, TC? The heart is a gateway from the physical dimension to the spiritual dimension, and also from the spiritual dimension to enter the physical dimension, which we call hell. That's why when you see in the heart chakra, it's a tetrahedron, right? Where you have the upside down triangle connecting with the right side up triangle, okay? And that is male, the upside down triangle, coming together with the female, the upside down triangle, coming together with the male, right side up triangle to create a gateway or a hexagon, a six-sided shape, geometric shape in the middle that is the gateway to enter spiritual and physical dimensions. Hence hex. Hex is a curse. That is the secret that you have been cursed, then you fell from the spiritual realm into the physical realm called hell. There was a hex on you, a curse, right? That's why the hex is 6 sides as well. 6, as you know, is the number of who? The number of the beast, or the number of man at his lowest self as an animal. Okay, that's why you have the number 6, right? The 6 is actually the fetus, the head being here, then the body curling this way. As everyone enters hell through the womb, right, head first. Okay, so that's why you have that. And when man reaches a certain level of understanding, now that 6 becomes upright, which is the 9, right, which is man's lesson. Man basically being turned upside down to see what you're really about, to see if you learned your lesson. Because you cannot escape 9 without perfecting those imperfections in you. That's why the next number is 10, right? That's why in the number 9, when you times it by itself, 9 times 2 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9, 9 times 3, 27, 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 times 4, 36, so on and so forth. So you will keep repeating the cycle or coming back to hell, right, if you do not learn your lesson, so that it'll be you standing next to 360 degrees of knowledge, which is perfection, okay? So we all come through the heart, okay? Who sent us to hell? Who would be so devious and diabolical that they would send your soul to incarnate in this material, imperfect body to experience pain, hurt, despair, agony, trauma, abuse? Who would do such a thing? The answer is you. The answer is you as a spiritual being. Remember, you fell from heaven to enter hell. So why would you send yourself here? Why would you do that to yourself? Because, and this is in Kemetic mythology, this is what the Buddhists believe, this is what the Hindus believe, many of the ancient religions believe in reincarnation, that we must learn our lesson here in order to transcend into the spiritual realm after our death. And if you do not learn your lesson, you are doomed to repeat it over and over again. That's why hell is eternal. Doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. That's why hell is, insane. It's an insane asylum, because we all doing the same thing, thinking that we're going to escape, and we never do. Okay? So, how did we sin? If we sent ourselves here, and you go through the heart, how does that work? Remember, hell is built like a simulation, like a video game. And this is agreed upon by quantum physicists that say 99% chances are that we are in a simulation than we are not. Because when you keep breaking down the building blocks of this universe, you see a pattern, you see intelligence, divine intelligence, that put things together in a certain way that would otherwise not be there randomly. It's a system, it's a setup, it's a modality, a set of principles and laws that must adhere to. And it's from the microcosm to the macrocosm. So chances are we are living in a simulated world. So why would we send ourselves here? Again, to learn the lesson so that we can escape to other realms. Okay? So how did we get it? So we pick our parents. This is why there's no victims here. Everything that happens to you and for you is because you designed it that way. Let me repeat that. Everything that happens to you and for you is because you designed it that way. So why would you design a place where you go to experience hurt and pain? Because sometimes you have to go through things, right, that unlock deep down inside of you strengths, compassion, empathy that you would never know you had unless you were thrown in the fire to purify yourself. This is why hell is a fire. It burns because you're burning off and you're shedding off ego. You're shedding off trauma. You're shedding off low self-esteem. You're shedding all these things off so that you can be purified into a divine being, right? But you have to overcome addictions. You have to overcome any abuses and traumas, usually in our childhood, because those are the hardest ones to to overcome. But once we do overcome, we become an enlightened being. Okay? So that's why you sent yourself here, to purify yourself, to test yourself, to push yourself beyond what you think you can go, to discover that you are much, much more than you ever thought you could be. That's why you're here. That's why there are no victims to enlightened beings. You're not here as a victim. You're here as a student to learn more about you. The more outside agitation, the more outside abuse and traumas that you experience, your reaction to that is what makes you divine. Now, if you play the victim role, you will forever be in this vicious cycle of coming back here. You'll always be motivated by fear. Woe is me, I can't trust anyone, I can't love anybody, the whole nine, and you'll be a victim here. But when you accept these things and you forgive those who perpetrated these things on you, because forgiveness is not for that person. Forgiveness is for you to raise your frequency to one day leave here, right, with a passing grade. And that's all we really want to do. Okay? So, you pick your parents. You pick your parents, right? So if your parents, if one of your parents, say your father, is irresponsible, he's an addict, he's a womanizer, he's so on and so forth. So chances are he's not going to be around in your life. So that means you're going to have to learn to be self-motivated, right? You're going to have to learn to be self-sufficient because there's no one there to help you. So you would pick a father who you knew was going to abandon you, right? If you knew, if your mother was emotionally unavailable, if your mother was traumatized and had trust issues and intimacy issues, and you picked her, why would you pick her? Maybe so you can teach her how to love. Teach her what it means to love. Or see the opposite of what you say, I will never be like that. I will never do that to somebody. She didn't love me, so guess what? I'm going to make sure that whoever I am with, they know that I love them. And there's no doubt about my heartfelt appreciation for everyone in my life, right? So you're not a victim. You're here to learn, right? We're here to understand. We're here to overcome, to become this divine being. So yes, you picked that alcoholic mother. You picked that no good, abusive father. You picked that abuser. Hear me out. You picked that traumatizer. You picked that person who broke your heart. You picked that person that stole everything from you. You picked that person who you confided in and they told all your secrets. You picked that person who done anything wrong to you. Why? To be the enlightened being by learning your lesson, overcoming it, and moving on. So in the spiritual realm, we're looking for our parents, the mother. There she is. That's the DNA that I need, right? That's the father. That's the DNA I need. He's an addict. I need to overcome addiction, right? She's emotionally unavailable. I need to connect with my heart and show compassion, right? So the mother is the maternal. So she's the material that's going to make you in the physical realm. Your father is the paternal, or he's the pattern of the blueprint that the mother uses to make you this being now in the physical form. And you see this all the time in video games. When you're creating a character, right, you are the user part of you. The user part of you goes on the game and selects brown eyes, right, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. He's going to be black. He's going to have quick-minded, right? Very resourceful, okay? He's going to have this color eyebrows. His nose is going to be like this. His lips are going to be like this. He's going to have this much power, this much strength, this much speed, right? Just like the video game, that's what you did in the spiritual realm when you literally picked your parents like we do in the video game. And in the video game, it's the user that creates the player part of you, Okay? So the user is your higher self. You as a spiritual being having a human experience creates the player part of you, which is now you as an animal having this human experience. So never the two shall meet until you reach the level of the heart. And the heart is the cheat code to understanding why you're here. If you never reach the cheat code that gives you the formula on how to escape, you will forever be locked as you as an animal in your lower self, being victimized over and over again and being motivated by fear and lack. Okay? You are the one that created you. You are the one that put yourself in this simulation. You are the one that picked all abuses and traumas that you have experienced in your life so that you can learn, overcome, raise enough velocity so that you can escape hell. Remember, hell, you have to escape gravity. Gravity, root word is grave. The grave for the soul. It's the grave for your soul. You are locked and trapped here unless you acquire enough velocity, which at the level of the heart is 528 hertz. We even measured it. Once you acquire enough velocity where you're now operating in your heart chakra, the first level of higher consciousness, now you can escape hell. But until you reach that level, that velocity, that speed that you need, you will always be locked down and repeat hell over and over again till you get the lesson that you need. Okay? So, how do I notice the simulation? Another clue is the Ankh. The Ankh in ancient Kemet, right, was called the key of life. And it has the female principle on top, which is the loop. And you have the male or masculine principle on the bottom, right, which is the phallus symbol. So you have the phallus symbol and the loop coming together at this plane of existence, the physical plane. And that is the key of life, the balance of masculine and feminine energy coming together in balance and harmony. Key of life. So what do Lucifer do in this realm? He turns the key upside down. So if it once was the key of life, upside down it's the key of death. Now the woman is at the bottom and the man is at the top, dominating her at the physical plane, right? And you see this in every electronics, every computer, every button that you see this with this. And that's the power button to turn on and off in this dimension, which turns your higher self off and turns your lower self on. It's not the key of life anymore. It's the key of death. Okay? So, we picked our parents. Our mother's pregnant. She's about to have us. What does she have? She have what's called contractions. The root word of contractions is a contract. This is the contract that you signed in the spiritual realm to come through your mother, right? To have this experience. You signed your contract in blood. So she's having contractions, meaning it's about time for you to come through. But we got to get the paperwork together, right? And then what happens is her water breaks, okay? Or her water releases. Anything in this realm needs water, right? Everything comes through water, right? And when I say water breaks or releases, that's another contract, release. Anything with RE signifies the sun, which gives new life. It's a new beginning. Like every day the sun rises, right? That's Re or Ra, right? So that's a new life, new opportunity. So anything with Re is new, renewal, right? Then you have lease. What is lease? Lease is another contract. So not only you mother having contractions, that's your contract, but now you're signing what? A new lease. A new lease for a life in the physical form, or a new lease in hell. Again, in blood. Okay? Then you go through her birth canal. And shout out to Jordan Maxwell, who compares Admiralty law, which is the law of the seas of the ocean, with the birth process, or you coming into existence in this physical realm. Okay? He talks about the birth canal. There's a birth, which is your birth, and there's a berth, which is a contract or a manifest in a dock when you come in, when the ships come in to unload, right? They're manifest, right? It's a berth, it's a canal, a birth canal, right? It's called a berth, right? The ship is coming in, we're gonna unload it. The items on the ship, there's a list called a manifest that lists everything that's on the ship. Remember, all ships are female, and that's because you are the vessel to bring us from point A to point B, from the spiritual realm, point A to point B down here, okay, through the birth canal. And you know, they also have canals in the ocean where the ships go through, sit in their berth, and then they get the manifest off the ship and they list what was on the ship, right? Same with us at the hospital, right? We go through the birth canal. The manifest is actually our birth certificate. Since our mother's the vessel, what did you bring into this realm? Oh, you brought in TC carrier. Here's the birth certificate. We filed away, okay? So that process, right? And it's a manifest, called a manifest, which is to bring into existence, right? She is bringing a human form into existence, okay? And then what else happens? There's a dock. There's a loading dock where the ship docks, stops. You have a dock as well to give birth to you, a doctor, okay? What also happens is your mother's cervix dilates, becomes larger, so, you know, to prepare for you to come through the birth canal. Also what happens is dilates is our pupils. Our pupils dilate. And whenever oxytocin is introduced into the body, our pupils dilate. Oxytocin is what's released when male and female come together in harmony. It's a bonding agent, right? Or it's also called the love hormone, okay? So all these come into play, right? The dilation of the cervix and the dilation of the pupil. What is another word for pupil? Student. You are a student of this life coming in here, right? Through love, through male and female coming together in balance and harmony to give birth by a doctor through the birth canal, okay? So now that we're here, what also happens, you could be on a harbor, right? Another ocean term for these ships to load and unload. There's a harbor, right? You also come in harboring lower level feelings. Because as soon as you come in, what do? Right? There's these bright lights, there's these loud sounds, right? Poking on you, picking on you. They take you away from your mother. It's cold, right? So much is going on. You traumatize. So now you are being motivated by fear. As soon as you go through that canal, you know, even in the old days, they would hold the babies upside down and spank them. Like, that is your God now. Fear has been weaponized in this realm to control and manipulate you so that you will never escape hell. And you'll come back over and over again doing the same thing, think you're going to get a different result. This is why hell is eternal. Now you're motivated by fear the second you come into this realm. And some people are still motivated by that. Okay? So, other thing that happens is your world is turned upside down. Remember the baby turned upside down? And now you don't know what's up, you don't know what's down. And now he spanks you, now you're motivated by pain. And for men, you get circumcised. Now your manhood is literally cut off. Literally diminished, right? Again, this is metaphysics. This is not just physical of what you're seeing. It's a reason that's deeper than you know, or that's revealed. It's the hidden secret, right? It's It's what people don't get. This is privileged information that only people who have been initiated in their craft, once they reach a certain level, they are revealed these secrets. Okay? Or once you reach a certain level, those secrets are revealed to you. Okay? So now you know that you come into this world, everything is upside down, you're motivated by fear, you're crying, you're cold, you're hungry, the lights are bright, you traumatize, okay? And eventually they get you back to your mother, which you sit on her heart, because the heart is the only thing that heals. That heart has been with you for 9 months in her womb. It's what guided you, it's what protected you, it's what communicated with you that everything's gonna be all right, keep growing, keep doing this, sending messages of love through oxytocin, that you are a divine being. And just like that is taken away from you at the moment of your birth, okay? There's a seal or a sigil called the seal of Lucifer, okay? And once you see it and you see how the eyes operate in the brain, it's another clue onto where you at, okay? So the eyes operate, the right eye is controlled by the left hemisphere of the brain, and the left eye is controlled by the right hemisphere of the brain. So you have this type of action, right eye, left eye, okay? And what it does, it flips the image upside down in your brain and then turns it back around when you're looking, okay? So your eyes literally flip everything upside down to what you see and call your reality. And this is why in ancient Kemet, they called Upper Egypt down here and Lower Egypt up here, because they knew that this world was turned upside down and manipulated by those in power that mean to keep you here. So this is now Upper Egypt, this is now Lower Egypt, and no one can really explain why do they call it that, right? They have some explanations, but they don't really come true. But when you see the seal of Lucifer with the eyes, and you know how optics work in the brain and how everything is flipped, and now right is left and left is right, and the world is upside down and projected back to you like a hologram, then you understand that you are living in an upside down world, okay? And that's the first level of consciousness, of knowing that you literally are upside down and need to be right side up, okay? And this is why they had what's called the first eye, the pineal gland, okay? Known as the first eye, right? And it's an eye because it sees through the illusion of the light holographic projection that Lucifer or this realm has created. It sees through what you can see, taste, touch, hear, or smell. It sees through your five senses. It sees through the physical realm, right? It does not believe it. It knows it's an illusion. So that's why they operate here, and this is why the pineal was so important. To escape hell, you need to be able to see through the illusion. And that's why they place so much importance on activating the first eye. Okay? Another clue to know that you're in hell, Freemasonry god called the Baphomet. That is the goat-headed figure, right, with breast of a woman, lower torso of a beast, holding the right hand up and the left hand down, sitting on a sphere or world. And if you're into tarot, in the weight deck, it's the devil card. And basically, they just added the woman chained to a block controlled by the devil on the right hand side of him with her tail on fire. And then in the deck, you have the man on the left side chained to another block that the Baphomet is under to keep him in his place. Okay? So let's go over the devil tarot first. The two genders are now reversed. The left side is the feminine side of the body, controlled by the right brain. But to the devil, he switched genders and now made the feminine side the masculine side. And the right side is the masculine side of the body, controlled by the left hemisphere of the brain. But now he made the masculine side the feminine side. So there is a war on gender because they know that is the foundation and the basic building block of the universe. There is only one law in my book called Everything is Sex. I go over the 7 laws, universal laws and principles by the Kybalion. And I state there is only one law, and that's the law of gender. All other laws and principles are expressions of the one law of gender. Check out my book, Everything is Sex. I go over that. So you see, by switching gender roles, you now turn the whole world upside down. And them being chained in blocks, locked to this realm, tells you that they are stuck in hell and will never go out unless they understand the law of gender. And it's not just male and female. It's everything. It's everything. Higher, lower, left, right. It's temperature. It's economics. It's politics. It's circulatory system. It's the digestive system. It's the nervous system. It's everything. Right? Check out that book. So you have that. Then you have Baphomet raising the right hand to a planet that is lit up, right? And lower left hand is pointing to a planet or moon that is in the shadow, right? Raising your right hand exalts the masculine side of your body, or the masculine principle. It's also the lower self. This is also man as an animal, right? Your right side is masculine. The left side is being suppressed by pointing downward towards the ground and raising the right. I think I remember in Saturday Night Fever, you had John Travolta doing that dance, and you didn't know that that was actually a ritual, suppressing the higher self and lauding or worshiping the lower self, okay? Then you see Baphomet is sitting on the world. That's the hell dimension that he's created, sitting on top of you and me, like, I got y'all here, and I'm not letting you go. This is where you belong. Right? And you have the hooves of a goat, the legs of a goat, and it stops at the solar plexus. Remember, the first level of higher consciousness is the heart, and that's why the Baphomet has breasts, because it's the feminine aspect or the spiritual aspect of man, okay? But the Kundalini energy stops at the solar plexus. So again, it stops at the lower self, the red, orange, and yellow or hell of consciousness. So you never escape from the heart. Okay, then you see the upside down pentagram or star, the right side up. Star is man as a spiritual conscious being, right? Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. That's the Da Vinci man, right? The star, man's consciousness at its highest level. You turn that consciousness upside down on its head, now you are lauding or worshiping man at its lower self or through the ego, motivated by fear. Okay? And then you see the flame coming up from the head, and that's the light, or this privileged information that I'm giving you about man as a spiritual being. But you never reach there. You'll never reach it because everything has been flipped upside down. That's why every president and everyone that stands in front of a judge has to take an oath. Who is that oath to? That oath is to Baphomet or to your ego or to your lower self, you as an animal, where you raise your right hand and you suppress the law of spirituality on the Bible. By placing it on the Bible, you are suppressing it, right, and worshiping your lower self. Oath, right? Baphomet. The B and O are interchangeable, right? In ancient times, B and O are interchangeable. So oath is really Bath, that you are worshiping this system. It's not about justice, right? It's about what you can get away with. Okay, how you can manipulate through lawyers and money to get what you want. It has nothing to do with integrity, with honor, reciprocity, propriety, truth. That doesn't matter in the justice system. Okay, so that's another clue to where you at. So how do we escape, TC? How do we escape? So in ancient Kemet, you see the majority of the statues are, when they're standing, have their left foot forward and their right foot back. There is a saying that Ashwakwezi, shout out to master teacher Ashwakwezi, that says, left foot forward to trample down evil so that the heart can move forward. So what does that mean? That means our ancestors were leaving us a clue on how to escape hell. Remember, the left side of the body is controlled by the right hemisphere of the brain, which contains the spiritual being that sees through the illusion, the feminine principle, the spatial, the creative, the no boundaries. It's not locked into the boxes of the left brain, where 1 + 1 is 2, and if I can't see, touch, hear, taste, or feel it, it does not exist. It can see through the illusion. So they are telling you the way out of hell, the way to higher consciousness, is through the right brain, looking at the world through the right brain. Why do you think now when we greet each other, everyone greets each other with their right hand extended? Because now my ego, my lower self, is now meeting your lower self, and we are agreeing upon defining myself and my environment and our relationship through the lowest of us. That's why Asians used to bow to the level of the heart when they greet each other, because they don't see you. I see this. I see this. That's why a genuine hug really feels good when you're greeting someone, because guess what? You are meeting their heart or their higher self, touching your heart or your higher self. That's what a hug is, heart to heart communication. But now with so much things going on, now we don't even trust, so our hugs become where our hearts don't touch, and yeah, it's cool, and I'm tapping out now. That's enough. Because we've been brainwashed. Okay? So this is why you have the mythology in ancient Kemet of Heru versus Set. Right? Heru is where you get the word hero from. He represents your right brain, right? That has no fear, that will die for a cause greater than themselves, right? That will overcome his fears and insecurities to become his higher self. That's why every superhero by Marvel, which happens to be red and white, logo or brand, is because that's the color of Heru, or the hero. They all have to overcome some type of dysfunction that they had in themselves in their past, right? Batman had to overcome, falling into a well and being inundated with bats. And every superhero has lost their parents. Why? Because to overcome grief is the strongest emotion that blocks you from reaching your heart. So if you can overcome your parents dying, you can reach and access the cheat code in the heart. That's why every superhero parents have died. We're like, why is he killing everyone's parents? Because it's metaphysical. It means that you can overcome grief to attain Christ consciousness or be the hero in your life. That's why Superman had an alter ego of Clark Kent, bumbling and tumbling around and awkward and not being able to talk to people and stuttering over his words and so on and so forth. Everyone has an alter ego. The Hulk, right? Bruce Banner, again, this outcast, awkward dude. Even Iron Man, right? And was this playboy, right? Billionaire. Had to overcome all that to humble himself, right? So every superhero goes through that because it comes back to ancient Kemetic mythology of Heru having to overcome Set, which is his uncle, but it's really his ego, his lower self. Remember in the first video, Set is where we get the word Satan from. The battle is internal in your mind. How are you going to define yourself in the reality you live in? By your lower self or your higher self? This is the eternal struggle that never stops. You don't reach and attain a certain level and the ego goes away. The ego will always be there to tell you, to pick on you, any insecurities, any cracks in your armor. It's going to try to exploit it and tell you, you ain't this, you can't do that, you're going to do this, right? So it's that eternal struggle. So remember, right brain is the key to escaping this realm. The right. Also, we all have heard the term, it's just business, nothing personal, right? But in ancient Kemet, everything was personal and nothing was business. There was no situation where the bottom line was to make as much money as you can at the expense of people's humanity. But here in hell, it's just business, nothing personal. Meaning they take the heart out of every decision, every action that they do. And when you take the heart out of that decision, now you're basically running on ego or your lower self. And this is why artificial intelligence or AI is so dangerous. Because artificial intelligence is wisdom or knowledge without the guidance of the heart. And without the guidance of the heart, intelligence or wisdom can be a very dangerous situation, right? So the economics here is, it's just business, ain't nothing personal, right? No heart involved. That's why you have corporations. A corporation is a corpse. It's a dead entity, right? Entities can be spirits, they can be demons. So a dead entity has no heart. So that's why they can do the things that they do and enslave the world, where only a few families reap all the benefits while everyone is enslaved. You are in hell.